this news you're giving me is really affecting me. I need some fresh air. So I gave him a tip, and I got out of the cab. And they wanted to see exactly the layout of the ship to make sure it was suitable for what we needed. It was 2 new ships we were buying.
And that was...
And I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to Venezuela because I figured I already crossed the Atlantic. I'm okay with my paperwork and everything in Europe. Going back to Venezuela, I had a bad feeling. Sure enough, by the time I got back, the organization had already been infiltrated, and they were waiting for me. The thing is that they were waiting for a Greek guy. The infiltrator, the guy that infiltrated the organization, didn't know me. All he heard was el griego, el griego, el griego.
Because you were living in Greece.
Because I was living in Greece. And they were waiting for a Greek guy, but I showed up with a Mexican passport.
Okay. So why again did you have to live for 3 months in Milan? That's what I lost in there a little bit because I got the Venezuela connection, but...
It got a little hot in Greece. And Elias said, the best thing is let's get out of Greece for a little while and let's go live in Milan.
Okay. And then that's 99. You went from Milan to Venezuela directly?
Yes.
And now were you like living in Venezuela then?
Yes.
Officially?
I was most of the time in Puerto Ordaz and then in Caracas. And then I got arrested in August of 2000.
Okay. Did you... Your girlfriend at the time, is this a new one now, not the Panamanian? Or is
the Panamanian girl, the day they arrested me, I never saw her again.
Right, but so she was still with you?
Yes.
Okay, so same
in
girlfriend.
Greece and in Milan and yeah.
Okay, so she comes with you to Venezuela, and this is where Operation Journey gets you. This is what we've been building up to. So this is 25 years into your career. You are... maybe the most respected logistics guy in the international cocaine business in existence. And you're operating out of Venezuela. Who were you, these new freighters you were looking at that you just mentioned a few minutes ago, who again were you working with on this deal? Like what cartel?
Well, it's in the book, and it's Operation Journey is in Google, but it's the Mellizos cartel.
By the way, Pure Narco. It's the name of the book. Great book. I read about 100 pages yesterday. It's absolutely phenomenal. So everyone check that out. The link will be in the description for you to buy it in our Amazon store. Highly recommend. But anyway, it was...
At that time, it was the most powerful, largest cartel working in Europe. The Mellizos cartel.
Where were they out of?
Colombia. And they were, at that point, they were working out of Barranquilla, but they're originally from Cali, from the Cali area.
But you said they were the biggest one in Europe?
They were the biggest Colombian cartel sending merchandise to Europe. Okay. I mean, they had that European market big time.
Now, where is, at this point, the Orihuela brothers? Have they been arrested? Is that done? The Cali cartel, have they been taken down?
They were arrested, I think, in 2003.
Okay.
They took us down in 2000. They were, I think, already arrested in Colombia, but they got taken to the U.S. I don't know when they got taken to the U.S. 2002, 2003?
Yeah,
something like that.
They were extradited in 2006 to the United States and pleaded guilty in Miami. But between June and July 1995, the remaining 6 of the 7 heads of the cartel were arrested. So they were taken down at least.
They were taken down, that's for sure.
And you
right
never,
after Pablo.
Did you work with them at all after Pablo?
No.
No.
The only Cali guy I worked with was El Mono Endo and Ivan Urdinola, but he was Northern Valley. Although very, very hooked up with Cali also, but he was Northern Valley.
Okay.
Because the cartel that took over after they took down Pablo and the Cali cartel was Northern Valley. They were the main cartel in Colombia. And I worked with them for five years or so.
Got it. So now fast forward to 2000, this Operation Journey, which you don't know is going on. It's a giant sting. This was like multiple countries, multiple agencies, right? Trying to take down this deal?
Yeah, it was 14 countries, Operation Journey. I mean, when they took us down, it was almost 25,000 kilos that was taken down over there. So Operation Journey was 14 countries joint international task force. That's why you had customs, Colombia, Venezuela, Eric Obinsky with DEA, the Brits, the French.
Wow.
Everybody was in there because we were operating. For example, at the same time that they arrested me in Venezuela, they arrested my partners in Paris.
Oh, they were,
and they arrested the Ku Klux Klan outfit, the Milan guy with the pointed hat in Milan.
Oh shit! So this was like,
yeah, everybody got hit.
Wow,
we all got hit at the same time.
Now, how did it go down? Like you had a warning shot, right? Where some cab driver or something gave you an alert.
Our ship came into Puerto Ordaz. When that ship comes into Puerto Ordaz, there was a Russian crew on board because it was doing a legal, it was just finishing a legal route. It came from the Mediterranean, went to Africa, went down to Brazil. Then when they arrived in Puerto Ordaz, we took the Russian crew off. We put them up in the hotel the captain, we put him up in the hotel in Caracas. And then the bad crew was going to be put on. The guys that we contracted out of Bangladesh, out of Philippines. We had a guy that all he did was contract bad crews. Okay. So I go to the hotel, the Tamanaco Hotel, a few times to meet with the Greek. One of my Greek partners was there because he had to pay the Russian captain $40,000. So I go meet my Greek partner a couple times at the Tamanaco. And then one of those nights that I was leaving the Tamanaco, a taxi driver tells me, "Hey, didn't I pick you up here last night?" I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, you did." He says, "Well, let me tell you something. After I picked you up, I was held by Guardia Nacional for almost 3 hours, and they were asking me about you. Supposedly, you are you're involved in the drug business, narcotics. Eres un narcotraficante." And I had my Mexican accent. "No, pues, ¿cómo se te ocurre? Me vas a dar un ataque al corazón, cabrón, que como que narcotraficante. Soy un hombre de negocios aquí en Venezuela. Soy de México." The whole... But I said, "You know what?" In Spanish, I said, this news you're giving me is really affecting me. I need some fresh air. So I gave him a tip, and I got out of the cab. At that point, I walked around a little bit. I called for another cab. I called my girlfriend who was at the hotel, told her to set up a party that we have some friends coming because I knew we were being watched at that point. So I wanted to look like if we were expecting some people over that night, maybe they thought that they'd be Mexicans. So I told my wife, my girlfriend, order a Mexican mariachi band because they'll probably think the fucking Mexican cartel's coming for dinner. So she was hesitant, and I said, "Listen, I know what I'm telling you. Do this. Just take your jewelry and meet me, and I'll pick you up in a taxi." So I picked her up, and then I called Ivan, who was at another hotel. I said, "Hey, motherfucker, we're fucked. Listen to this. Pam, pam, pam." He didn't want to believe me either. But bottom line is, we all got in a cab and we took off to the airport in Caracas, which is Maiquetía, which is about an hour and a half away. From there, the next morning, we took off to Maracaibo because I knew they were after us. So we stayed 2 or 3 days in Maracaibo because I had lost my passport. I think they had stolen it. DEA, somebody had taken my passport. Very strange for me.
Like broken into your place?
Yeah, very strange for me not to have a passport. So I had to call the lady that had all my passports in Guatemala for her to travel to Venezuela with my new Mexican passport so I can cross the border into Colombia. during those days that we were in Maracaibo, they must have triangulated phone calls and this shit and that shit. So they mobilized from Caracas, and they flew in some helicopters with some National Guards, and they located us in Maracaibo. And then that's when, I was, ready to take a taxi in 3 hours to cross the border to Maicao, Colombia. And I was in a barbershop, shaving my beard so I would look differently. And that's when they came in and said, no estaba bajo arresto, pero estaba bajo sospecha de narcotráfico. Necesita venir con nosotros. You're not under arrest, but you're under suspicion of narco trafficking, and you need to come with us. And that's when they picked me up at the barbershop. And that's when they took me into the police station. They said, where's the merchandise? If you don't tell us where the merchandise, we're going to cut you up with a bisturi, the surgeon's knife that they use.
These are the Venezuelans, right?
Yeah.
So
they were playing good cop, bad cop. The Colombian cop was a good cop, and the Venezuelan was, if you don't tell us where the money is, where the merchandise is, we're going to cut you up. They even sat me and strapped me onto a steel chair that was nailed down to a concrete slab inside a room that was painted white, but it was smeared with blood. And they kept saying, we're going to cut you up, motherfucker. We're going to cut you up. And for some reason, I knew it wasn't true.
But you had been scared before this. This was one of the two moments you said where you did have fear. Like, if I get caught by the Venezuelans, they're going to fucking torture me.
Yeah, that was... No, this time... There's too many people. I knew I was shit out of luck. But I still thought we could buy our way out. And I kept saying to the Colombian guy, hey, we got $1 million we can give you. We got $2 million. I mean, all it takes is a few days. We can get this money together and let us go. And that's when I was sitting in the Suburban, and he tells me, it's a little too late. And then I was sitting in the back seat of a Suburban in front of the police station in Maracaibo. And suddenly I look to my right, and out of the windshield, I see these pair of skinny, long legs and shorts. And I look a little better, and I see, well, he's a really tall guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt. That's when I said, we're fucked. There's no $2 million. There's no $1 million. There's no paying nobody off. The gringos are here. And that's when Eric Kolbinski walked in and sat right next to me in the back of the Suburban with his shorts and his Hawaiian shirt and his flip-flops. Says, hi, I'm Eric Kolbinski with DEA.
It's nice to meet you.
Fuck. You are Mr. Luis Navia. You are not a Mexican. And I go, pues, ¿cómo eso es un error? Yo soy mexicano. Do you want to stay here in a Venezuelan jail? Pues, eso es una equivocación. Yo soy mexicano. Soy un empresario.
You're still in game mode. You're still like good.
And he said, you know what? We really don't have that much time to stay here and talk about if you're Venezuelan, Mexican, Cuban, Hawaiian, or whatever the hell you want to be. But I'm going to clarify this real quick. He got on the phone and he called Bob Harley in Key West. And he goes, Mr. Navia, we know exactly who you are. Your mother lives at 315 Cypress Drive, Key Biscayne, Florida. We've been there. We know you went to Georgetown University. Oh, shit. How about that? How informative.
I was unfamiliar with your game.
I was unaware. So I would suggest you cooperate and you peacefully go along with a gentleman that's next to you that, by the way, works for the DEA, and you'll be coming to Florida soon.
What was your feeling when that happened? Was there fear? Was there relief? Was there a little bit of both? What was the vibe?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. If you would have told me, listen, how do you think you'd feel that if you ever got arrested? I'd say, oh, fuck, the world's going to end. I'd fucking... Nothing. I was just there, and I was sitting there, and I was thinking, wow, I'm in some deep shit. And then they took us up to a military outpost they have outside of Caracas up in the hills. And then I started seeing these military convoy trucks coming in with a bunch of fucking cocaine. And it's all our duffel bags and more and more and more. And then I said, you know, that's it. We're going, you know, they're taking us to the U.S. So.
Do you think you were going to spend the rest of your life in prison?
Yeah.
And you came to peace for that, with that.
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen, but somehow or the other, there must have been somewhere in my brain that told me that things were going to get resolved.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.